the first tale is that people make the argument that everyone's living longer, therefore, everyone should work longer. The first part of that is a tale. Everyone is not living longer. The upper half of the income distribution is living longer, but the lower half of the income distribution, their life expectancies have stagnated or they're declining. The second part of that is also a tale. That not everyone should be actually waiting to retire. A lot of the retirement decisions are based on factors like how long are you expected to live, how good or bad is your health status. And the fact of the matter is that for lower income workers, particularly for blue collar workers, they can't afford to work longer. And so 62 and the ability to retire at the age of 62 is an important asset for them to have. Yeah, so approximately almost half of the U.S. population does not have access to a tax-preferred retirement vehicle through their employer. And that means that for many of these people, Social Security becomes their only option. And so it's important to understand that Social Security is not a lavish benefit. And particularly for working, for middle and working class Americans, we need to actually have vehicles for them to actually have better economic security in retirement. And currently, we don't have that. Instead of enhancing Social Security, the people in charge in Washington are talking about cutting its benefits. Instead of enhancing our private retirement account system to make sure that people who work for example, small businesses who don't have access to private retirement accounts, instead of enhancing those benefits to ensure that all of these people actually have access to a private account, we have people, policymakers in this country who are not prioritizing that. So what we have is a hodgepodge system that's not serving most Americans well, and that means that we are increasing the likelihood of economic insecurity in for older adults than enhancing it. So it's important to understand that 48% of women tend to retire at age 62. 42% for men, so women tend to retire earlier than men. But for African Americans, blue-collar workers, lower-income workers, the numbers are dramatically higher. That we're talking about, economically vulnerable populations actually retiring at age 62 in larger numbers than the general population. And a lot of this is driven by, as I mentioned, health status factors, economic pressures. For many of these workers, Social Security retirement benefits are actually a good proposition compared to what they can get in the labor market or if they try to continue working, if they have that option at all. Yeah, so Google is a great, if you have a question, put it into Google. Put your question into Google and then look for the credible sources. The sources that are, any number of think tanks actually do. Analysis of life expectancy by race, ethnicity, by income. It's important that you, look at those resources. You have to understand that different think tanks actually have different ideological biases, so you should make sure that you're trying to go for neutral sources that are just trying to give you the facts without spin. Social Security Administration puts out a number of statistics through their annual statistical supplement so that you can, and they have all kinds of breakdowns by race, by class, by gender, that you can understand better who's receiving Social Security, what their condition is upon retirement in terms of their private wealth. All of these factors can be found in the data. And the data is generated by government agencies, it's generated by think tanks, it's generated by academics.